Hello everyone, so I am back here in Minez 2 at the Manchester house now. So this is actually quite a cool build. It's sort of made in the design as a bunch of rooms conflicting without purpose. It's got some spooky lore behind it. But I'm not here for the lore today, I am here to show you the dungeon. So in order to get to the dungeon, you first have to navigate quite a bit of the house. So you enter through the front door there, come around here, up and around, take a couple staircases up. You can sort of find the path though, and see, as the Manchester house tends to do, I have reached a random pointless dead end. Okay. Basically you have to go up and around and to the third floor or so, then find those staircases and come back here. When you've arrived at the right place, there's this iron door with a button here. So if you have any friends in the house, they can just let you in. You don't have to do that part. But this is where the Manchester house starts to get really spooky. Because whereas the upper floors, they kind of make sense. They're rooms and whatnot. Now we begin to enter the basement. And so the basement down here, just absolute jumble of, there's stairwells up here that go into a brick wall and a bunch of just nonsense, and it's a mess. So in order to get into the dungeon, you first have to, not only find it, which can be a bit of a hassle in this maze of passages. So this is the entrance to the basement, and I'll show you from here how to get to the dungeon. So you first come over here, up these stairs, and down these ones, and then you need to hop from there up to here, and from here up onto that brick support, so we're now up above that first descending staircase. And then if you come down here, there's these two blocks which mark the entrance to the dungeon. However, you will note it's currently blocked off, and so you have to go and find a pressure plate first that opens it. And so in order to find that, you head back up here to sort of where we entered the basement, and instead go straight instead of right. So then when we get here, hop up again. Let me kill this zombie first, he's making a lot of noise. Okay, so come down these stairs after going straight. Now we hop up onto here, up onto this upper stairwell, then we come up here. Now you come, or just a little hop here, another nonsensical stairway, and then we're going to want to hop there, there, and there, up to there. So let's see if I can execute that. So we go there, to here, some chests. So anyway, once we're here, we hop back up onto that support above. If you fall, it's back before all those jumps. And then you walk over to the side here. Or not. Okay, turns out you are meant to go here. So you then fall down this too steep one, then hop over onto, oh, rip. Well, you're meant to hop onto that stair. I guess I have to go do that all again. So I'll see you guys when I make it back up there. Okay, I made it back here, following the same path as before. And then we hop up here. Yay. So there's a chest there, and then that right there is the pressure plate. And you'll also notice if you look around, we're basically right above where the dungeon starts. So I'm going to take Mr. Brick, and I'll sacrifice that to the door. So now if we head back, which can be done simply by fall down here, or right where we entered, that's the entrance to the basement. So now we can just come back over here to the right, and down, hop up, and up again, and then there we go, right there, entrance to the dungeon, which is now open. There's a nice water refill here, 2 chests, one which is food, which is very nice, especially if you come here looking for food. And yeah, here I'm gonna refill this. Ouch. So as you can see, if you looked, this button will return you to the surface, because what lies beyond will break your sanity. So I mean, if you don't want your sanity broken, I wouldn't go beyond, you know. But don't hit that button if you don't want to go to the surface. I've made that mistake, believe it or not. Anyway, so now there's a button here, opens the iron door, and will take us into the main part of the dungeon. So once we get here, if you thought the previous part was spooky, you're gonna absolutely flip here, because the rest of this is just nonsensical platforms, all without any rhyme or reason, lots of falls. It's an absolute mess down here. However, if you sort of know the path this parkour maze sorts, you can actually find the exit and beat the dungeon, or at least what's of it now. So, the first jump you make is you're on right here with the iron door. You can use this sort of as a frame of reference, because if you fall, which is not unlikely, because, you know, it happens all the time, you just sort of find your way back up here to the iron door. Most of the time it includes getting to that platform, up onto that, and then back to here, and then finding some way back onto here, depending on how far you've fallen. To start the actual dungeon, we jump from here up onto those ascending half slabs. And then you come over here onto this side, and then jump over there. Now once we're here, you'll notice this staircase leads to a little area, just once again up above where we've started. There's a chest here, more food, which is always appreciated. Now we hop from here up onto this doorway. Simple one block jump. Now from here, you actually intentionally fall down, and now we're going to head onto this staircase that the zombie is on. I spent absolutely forever trying to locate that and wandered around, you know, there, basically everywhere except where the right way is. So let me dispose of him, then we can hop down here, and another, you know, nonsense hallway there. So if we head back, we're now a little bit below where we just were, and so you want to climb out onto this brick, and you'll see this takes us into a little hole in the wall. Now from here, we have several sort of broken staircases. We hop up on those, jump from here up onto this one, or onto the brick rather. It's an easier jump to make. There we go, made it. So now you keep climbing up, and then we reach here with the skull. And so head down this pathway with the skull, another food chest, again, quite nice. Next, this hallway over here is just sort of a dead end. You'll notice that if you actually walk into it. Next, there's this staircase here with the door. Just walk onto that, open the door, and hop through. Now we take this passage and then onto this beam here. So now we are literally directly above where we first entered the dungeon. The iron door is right there. And so if we were to fall at this point, you know, it's not that bad, but it does mean we have to start the entire thing over. So now, you hop from here, over across the gap, onto that. The half slab makes the jump easier. I suppose you can do it there as well. So I did that. So now you come down here, another food chest. Something to note about this dungeon, it will be extremely dark. I have my brightness up, so, but don't let that deceive you. This dungeon is very dark, very maze-like. If you get lost, it can be very hard to find your way back. And so if you do get lost, my recommendation would be find your way back to that iron door. It's a good point of reference. It should always be there. It is towards the south and about halfway up. Okay, so once we reach here, looted the food chest. If we hop there, those are actually the first staircase we took to start the dungeon. So if I'm to hop the simple block down there, I lose all my progress, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to head over here. There's a block above our heads, so you can do it just by sprinting. You can probably do it by walking, but do that just to be safe. Now we're on these mini stairways. Hop from this one up onto this one. And then you can't actually get up onto that one because the roof's there and it's a stair. So now we hop from this down onto here, and then from here along this path, and now we're going to try and get there. We're going to then take several staircases down and end up on that platform. So if you do fall, it's not the end of the world. You're headed there anyway. There's typically a chest there. It appears not to have spawned. I believe if you fall there, you can probably jump up onto the chest and up onto here. If it's there, of course. I'll confirm that when I'm down there. So, you see that sort of weird hole in the wall made with stairs? We're jumping sort of towards that. I'm going to aim for that. Watch out, we will hit our head on the roof. So I'll do that. I made it. Now you can just descend these staircases. Back here. Oh, there's the chest. Turns out, well, I guess maybe you can make that jump. If you're better than I am. Anyway, so we're here. And now, look. There's more down there. It's an absolute maze in here. Anyway, we head over to that block. Fairly simple jump. And now we are right here. And we're slightly below where we started. So now marks the end of this section. And you'll know you've gotten here when you get to this little fenced off area and then the two block drops with the brick. And so now we've fallen here. Obviously we can't get up without grappling. Even with grappling it's quite tough. I've done it before, but took basically an entire grapple. And we're now down here. So now once you go between these pillars, we appear in this room. And there's not really anything much of note of this room except for this button, which I'll go ahead and hit. And I think it's meant to do something? Anyway, I don't know. So then, if you try and head back, you will note we're no longer in the same room. So if you hit the button again, the room keeps changing. It gets changing and changing, which is really cool. Unfortunately, it worked really well the first time, so you could hardly see it at all. Unfortunately, right now, you can sort of see the blur when you get teleported and it changes, but I don't know. I really like this room. It looks really cool. If they expand it or do something to it, I'm going to be really excited. So now we're in this corridor. There's half a dozen or so these doors. They all lead to nothing. I've opened all of them. So now we reach this sign, which says, you sense that there's more beyond the wall. However, it remains sealed for now. So this is sort of the end of the dungeon so far. Clearly, with the whole breaking your sanity theme of the dungeon, I'm really excited for what's going to come next. I think what's come so far is really cool, really neat, and they're probably going to outdo themselves with the rest of it. So now, to actually get out, and to get our loot, you hop down here, and then there's a ladder, which you can fall onto. And then you'll find there's these 2 chests. Get some boots, bandages. It's a lot of sort of decent military is the typical loot here. Then if you fall down again, you get 2 more chests. Wow, golden apple. I will actually take that. That's cool. And then fall down again. Oh look, more chests. So we get a total of 6 chests here. I'm going to take that armor because that looks nice. There we go. Alright, and then there's this button here, which when we press it will take us out of the dungeon. And it will place us right here, a bit south of the Manchester house. Luckily a bit safe from any zombies which may have spawned there. So yeah, no, it's a really cool dungeon. I would recommend giving it a go. It can be a bit tough to navigate if you don't know what you're doing, because the Manchester house basement is a really interesting maze. But it's fun. It's got some decent loot. It's got that really cool teleporting section. So I definitely recommend giving it a go, especially if you're up here north near the sort of mountains in the Levectis area. Alright, thanks for watching.